Stay by your side. Alrighty, hello everybody. Oh, let me switch the lights over here really quick. One second. I'm gonna switch the lights over really fast. I actually might need the bigger light on. I realized because wait, what the fuck is my webcam? Oh. Realized. So we're gonna have to use this for this. So that's what I can do with the controller, and then the webcam. Okay, there we go. There we go. And look what we also got finally fucking charged up and fixed. I found the other charger finally for this guy. I mean, a $400 unit and wasn't able to use this guy. It was killing me there. Absolutely killing me. You know, that thing is like one of my babies for a reason. You know, I've had that thing for 2-3 years now. I had the original one for a total of 4 years now. That one is starting to finally kind of come back to life. So, oddly enough, give me 1 second. Oh, I see it now. Yeah, I see it now. Oh, it's all good. I grabbed paper towels, my nose was draining. I was like, oh no, my nose! Holy shit, chat. My face was leaking there. Alrighty, so. How we all doing, guys? How we all doing? It is fantastic to see everybody here. Kind of moving some stuff around real quick. We're actually going to try some of this black cherry out of the corn cob, because I've not tried any of my aromatic ones like this that I had originally bought way back in the day. I also do have a bit of this bowl left of my Lane 1Q left in this, and my German briar pipe. Smoking this in my corn cob on the way home today, so I finished the corn cob bowl mid-walk, so I was like, screw it, load up the briar. I loaded it with some Lane's 1Q while I was out on the walk there. Funny thing too, I was doing it right outside the police station too, and I swear I was just waiting for either a cop to stop or for anybody else to be like, what are you doing, loading up weed over there, cannabis? Like, no, it's just pipe tobacco. And then I'm not going to believe me, and then me have to bust out the jar and show them the jar of pipe tobacco and be like, see, it's just pipe tobacco. I'm just smoking pipe tobacco there, you know, fam. So, well, cheers. Got this in the German briar pipe still. While we're smoking, a load of cob up. Oh, pretty good. Able to sit there and just hit the 1Q while we're loading up the bowl of Paladin pipe tobacco. And a Paladin black cherry. I'll let a smaller kind of half bowl here. I'll just see how it goes. Pour some tobacco through. I gotta find out a little bit tighter. There we go. Now it's the restriction of a milkshake. The Lane 1Q is such a fantastic smoke for a bulk tobacco, honestly. So glad I picked up another 2 ounces of that the other day when I was had the chance there. Taste the honey a little bit more too on this one, like on the briar pipe versus the corn cob. For the corn cob, I'm getting more of the we get more like the vanilla on the corn cob. This is why I taste a lot more than honey. Got just that nice sugary, tobacco-y kind of vibe. Alright, there we go. Roasted to that bowl there fairly nicely. I just didn't want to tap it out, chat, knowing that there was still so much of it, and I can hear the tobacco oils sizzling. Oh yeah, there was still just a little bit, very little, that was probably smokable in there. Yeah, we're gonna put pipe clears. I know I just saw them. And if you have a well-designed pipe here, chat, one of the best things is that you won't need to worry about having to do all the extra cleaning stuff. Also, I forgot, I need to change the title of this video too, by the way. Episode 14. Alright, I didn't change the whatchamacallit, the description, but we got the gist of it. It's all up in there though, chat. So we got that all good to go there. Alright, and what I wanted to do is I also kind of wanted to have more of a actual pipe smoking video today. So today's video is actually going to specifically focus more on, you know, pipe smoking, why I've decided to start pipe smoking, how do I feel about it within the conjunction of cannabis use, how do I feel about it in the conjunction of having used it now with using it with my epilepsy, in the sense to combat my epilepsy, actually. We'll get more into that one here in a bit, too, because that's actually a really big part of today's video, to be honest. And it's something that I've been kind of just rolling over my head the last week or so about how to do it. How to go about the video in the right way without it just seeming like I'm just saying, like, oh yes, this is 100%, factual. This is the evidence. This is this. This is that. Now I don't have anything other than circumstantial evidence right now when it comes to my theory, but I will say that the circumstantial evidence is still fairly good, and I would argue that the circumstantial evidence is actually, in a lot of ways, maybe even better than just having, an actual statistic that I can read off about it. In that regard, I should say. I just washed my hands, in chat. Gotta love it. We got the German Briar, so we'll let the German Briar cool off a bit before we load that up again. And we'll load some espresso probably in that bad boy. But before I dive right into the corn cob here, which we have the corn cob made by the Meerschaum Group. I think Meerschaum's, I forgot the full name of the company, but they do Meerschaum pipes as well as the corn cob, as you can see here, with a nice hardwood shank. This has just got the plastic stem in it. Now, the nice thing about this, though, is this is a big fat opening on this one. Now, it is designed to have a filter in this, so you can put a filter in it if you'd like, but I like to take the filters out and just get the pure, unadulterated tobacco taste straight from my pipe. Because especially if I'm using aromatics, I do not want anything to affect my aromatic in any way. I want that pure flavor. So, that is why I do that there, chat. The videos that I wanted to go over today about everything is, quite honestly, about the different cuts, different types, and other people's opinions and where they come from with the idea of smoking a pipe, and what does it mean to them, and what does it mean to myself, and possibly what does it mean to you if you're a pipe smoker as well in the chat. This has been a thing that you can consider a hobby, but you can also consider it a lifestyle. There is, I would wager, two different parties in the camp. You have one party that says this isn't just a hobby, this is their way of life. Then you have the other aspect of it, which is the other group that says, no, this is just a hobby, this is not a way of life. So you have a mix. You got a mixed bag there, right? You have either or. People are either going to see this as their way of life, or they're going to see this as just a hobby that they have. Now, even if it's just a hobby, this is not a hobby that I would argue that you can just jump into and it's going to be, you do this, you're instantly going to have great time, right? Pipe smoking is definitely something I feel like that is definitely a type of thing that has to kind of grow upon you. You have to find a way to enjoy it, all these types of things. Uh, uh, there's a few things, like that you got to kind of prepare yourself for a little bit. One being the different types of, tobacco cuts, which is why I wanted to, do this video that we're going to see here. My camera, as you can see right there, it says different types of tobacco cuts. So we're going to go about that one here in just a second. One second here, chat. All right. Okay, I had to send that message there really fast. But you know, with it being said that there is the different cuts of tobacco, the different styles of tobacco, and when I say different styles, I mean different like blends. So you're gonna have blends that are just like your English blend, which is kind of stylized in the way that England would always have bought their tobacco from America or blended it there over in England. So there's a lot of things like that. Then you have like the more American kind of style blends. Then you have aromatic blends. You have your Latkia blends. You have your Burley blends. You have all kinds Cavendish. So there's a plethora of different kinds that you can have out there. Um, Flavorings, non-flavorings. What are they using for the topper and casing and all that other stuff like that? Is it you know purely one kind of tobacco, or is it a blend of, Perique, Latkia, red and bright Virginias with maybe some Cavendish, whatever the case is, right? And when it's like that kind of thing, that's a whole smorgasbord of tobacco right there. Usually, I feel like you're only going to get anywhere between 2 to 3 blends. You don't really get the 4 blend or 5 blend mix, which is like all of them. You really are only going to get 2 to 3 because I feel like it then overpowers them, or maybe doesn't complement the other flavors in the natural tobacco very well if you combine too many of them all at once. Um, and also, you got to remember too, your body does not individually detect these things. Like, maybe the notes, yes, it will. But like, let's say you were to take these, like, and each one of them was like, in a sense, like a medicine, where each one was to do something different. Well, your body doesn't then distinguish and goes, okay, it's this drug, this drug, this drug, this drug, this drug. No, no, no. It then amalgamates them into one new drug and creates a new compound with your body. Your body is its own chemist in a lot of ways. So that's a big thing just to kind of keep in mind. And then when you're doing tobacco too, uh, there is uh, there is a point too of which you have to make sure that when you study the tobacco, you study getting into pipe smoking, you have to study whether or not is this going to be the thing that's for you, right? And I think the reason why I say this and I often bring this kind of topic up at hand um, a bit is that I can see how you know there is a great deal um, of knowledge to be had in this, and there's a lot of stuff that can really push people away from it, and there's a lot of stuff that can really get people hooked into it. And I feel like a lot of people will get kind of overwhelmed by what is uh, thus the kind of like the just the basics of the ins and outs of pipe smoking, whether it be your maintenance of your pipe, whether it be the kind of blends that you can use, how to pack the blends, how to light your fucking tobacco, what light source works best, match, lighter, Zippo, hemp wick, whatever, and I use hemp wick a lot of the times. When I like a little bit hotter of a bowl because if I have like let's say for instance, the espresso and the mocha, these guys are really moist, so I kind of need a hotter flame to cut through the moisture a little bit and actually get the tobacco oils to saturate through the tobacco faster and drop down to the bottom, and then to kind of boil out and just give me that vapor and allow that aroma to permeate that bowl. So when I smoke it, I'm getting all that aroma, all that flavor, all that stuff like that, all into one bowl. Now you can do the other option, which is ideally take like a rolling tray or a weed tray, whatever you got at hand. And this is a weed tray that's actually got Rick and Morty stuff all over it, which is super badass. Uh, but you can take something like this, right? Throw the tobacco on here, give it about 20, 30 minutes for it to dry out a little bit to let some of that moisture kind of, dissipate into the air. Then load the bowl with that stuff. That will be better to load with and it will actually burn more evenly. But who's got time for that shit all the time? I ain't. I don't want to smoke a bowl. That's what I want to do. I want to smoke a bowl of tobacco. I don't want to sit there and dwaddle and be like, "Is my tobacco dry enough now?" So it's like there's also little benefits I think to being a cannabis smoker too that allows for you to find ways to get around these things that normally people would be like, I don't know how to get around this because this is too moist or it's too dry. How do I fix this? How do I smoke this? How do I do it without burning my throat or doing this or doing that? And a lot of that also applies to cannabis a lot. And it's kind of funny because actually being a cannabis smoker, I think that it actually has made it much, much easier to get into pipe smoking that way too, as well. again, for anybody wondering, what are we vaping on? Where's my bottle of juice at? This is the Vapetasia 3 milligram. My Cloud. The 3 milligram tobacco flavored juice. This is tobacco with hazelnut and vanilla. So it's got a bit of a creamy note to it. Now, for anybody who's also a fellow pipe smoker, if you wonder why I still use my mod vape, I've talked about this in a previous video before. These disposables are a lot harder for me to do now because the fruity flavors actually bother me. Like, it kind of sucks that there's a blueberry bubblegum one that I had that I actually do like for vape juice wise. But I do have this Fruity Pebbles glazed donut, and this is even too much of fruit flavor, whereas this is just tobacco mixed with vanilla and hazelnut. And I've now noticed that I tend to like the tobacco flavored juices more because, well, it tastes like tobacco. It tastes like when I'm smoking in my pipe a little bit. And one of the big things that you see with this, right? You see how thick these clouds are. One of the problems, though, with having one of these is that when I'm taking a hit, now I guess you could argue that the tongue bite would be the exact, polarity of this, right? Or not polarity, but the exact reference to this guy here, because let's say you're taking a hit like I just did there, where I take a nice long, full, voluptuous, vape hit, and I blow out a big fat fucking cloud like that. Well, guess what? One of the problems is going to end up being. Well, one of the problems will end up being is that either the cloud will be really nice and great the first one, and then the second time I go to take a hit, dries out the cotton in that tank so quickly that it doesn't saturate the juice fast enough into the cotton, so that way when you take a hit, you get what's called a dry hit, and it's gonna burn the cotton and taste like shit. I had this happen earlier with my where is he at? I don't know if I don't think I brought him with me. I think he's charging at the vape shop. But my Geek Vape L200 red mod that I usually have. Now, this is the Vupu Argus GT that I'm using right here for the mod on this Geek Vape M tank, which is the Zeus tanks, but it is a M series, which means it's the bigger tank. It's using these bigger fucking coils. Like we're talking about big Chungus coils here. All right, anywhere between triples or quads, or what I'm using on these guys. Definitely some thick fucking clouds, I'll tell you that. And the tobacco note could be a little stronger on this, and I'd like that a little bit more because I think that the sweetness of the hazelnut and the cream from this vape juice does come through a little too strong. But it is a 70-30 VGPG blend. Again, 3 milligrams on this juice. The other reason why I also grabbed it was because this juice is technically expired of this year of July. And I decided to say, fuck it. The flavoring's not going to be that, faded yet. But since I don't have the, right mind to sell that to a customer and be like, oh, yes, buy some expired fucking juice. Why don't you? No, not going to do that. So I decided to grab it myself. And that is what we've been vaping on in between, like I said, doing the pipe balls. Now, I do have some, like I said, the Paladin Black Cherry already loaded into the corn cob right now. One of the videos I do actually have up here listed is the American Tradition Corncob Pipes and Aromatic Tobacco by Dr. Alan Harrelson, and I think that he has a lot of great videos, a lot of great takes on pipe smoking in general. So I have a couple videos up here by him, along with a why pipe smoking is good for the soul video. Pipe smoking as a mindful practice is a good one that he does with the interview. We have the Vobes show, which has got Richard Vobes, who, this one is from a year ago, the Why I Smoke a Pipe. I thought this video is also really good for beginners. There is the How to Smoke a Pipe with Matt Frad that Alan did there. And then these two videos here are by this young man here, Get Piped, which is, I do believe his name is Adam Floyd. Awesome dude. He served in our military as well, so big shout out to him for doing the service there. But he has a great channel called Get Piped. And all these channels I will be linking in the chat as well for over on Rumble or on YouTube's where we're live at. So if anybody wants to check out these channels, even on your own time, but especially because of the fact that we are going to be reacting to these videos and like that, be sure to go and check these videos out on your own time. Make sure to give them a like. Be sure to give them a view. Sub to them if you enjoy their channel content, and make sure to hit that bell notification to get all their notifications when they finally drop videos. Some of these guys like Alan and Pipe here, they don't really drop videos all that often. Alan, I think, has done it so a little bit more so here recently, just because he's been doing, uh, not just playing, pipe smoking videos. He's got a lot of ones like these here. So just a lot of good videos where he's talking about actual like philosophy or politics and all kinds of other stuff like that. Things that are very cerebral and things that you're going to want to smoke a pipe and kind of listen to and take into consideration and take in that information, contemplate upon it, and come to your own terms of thought on those topics that he's talking about, or do your own research, so forth, so on, right? But it's nice to have a pipe, smoke while you're watching the video, and you're like, okay, okay, just as you're doing that along, right? So that's always nice. It's a nice way to enjoy the videos. But this was his most recent one. But as you can see, it takes usually about a week, sometimes 2 weeks difference, and then sometimes it's a couple months in between them and stuff. And there has been some that have been like even longer than that when it comes to his postings. Now, Vobes does every Sunday. He posts a video, so every Sunday. Now, Richard just did a video this last Sunday, which was the Wonder of Color, which I honestly love the video that he did here. It was a good video. Absolutely had a blast watching it. And again, yeah, okay, I get it. Okay, yeah, I get it. It's been a rough day. So what? Sorry, I get annoyed when I tell someone I'm streaming and they go, oh, okay, well, I need this or that when I could buy. Okay, I told you I was going to be streaming though, so guess what? You're probably not going to get any of that. So sorry. I fucking said had started late to streaming. I fucking hate when people do not listen to me. Again, it's just the absolute irritation of fucking people just being like, oh, okay, well, someone is going to do what I want to do. Don't fucking care. Like, it just gets so frustrating, dude. Anyways, um, this channel I've not seen much from other than that they have a bunch of different people that are on this channel. Um, and again, too, by the way, the other reason I get annoyed by that type of stuff, real quick, chat, it's just because, again, I tell somebody, hey, I'm doing something, and if they tell me that they're doing something, I respect that. I try to give them time, space, all that other stuff like that. I am never given that. It is always, oh gosh, you're doing that. It's like, oh, okay, I get it. You don't like it, but guess what? Oh, fucking well. I'm so tired of having to fucking, bend over backwards because people don't, because somebody doesn't like XYZ thing or whatever the fucking case is. I'm just so fucking tired of it. It gets to be very fucking tiresome. Wow. It's really me. This girl's like barely, like, she's literally wearing a lingerie top. Of course, she's got like 8,000 viewers. People are looking at her titties, dude. What the fuck are you talking about? I just don't. Kick. Fucking do better about that shit, Kick. Like, I accidentally went over to Kick because I forgot that I wasn't on there yet. Oh, Willie Mac finally does a video on the whole Hassan thing. Like, wow, Willie, a little late on that shit, don't you think, buddy? Why don't you have done that again? I wish these people would have done this shit a lot sooner instead of just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting to do their fucking video content. Because it's like, after a certain while, it just kind of looks like a bunch of bullshit at this point. It's like, really, like, you guys couldn't be bothered to fucking make a video sooner. But no, I have to fucking make sure to appease the fucking, the gods there. I can't have anything go out of place there. Heaven forbid. Okay. Okay, there we go, chat. This is why I have my chat windows open on either side of my screen so I can see you guys at all times. But So yeah, they got a few things done. This Cornell and Deal from Beyond Returns. I want to say they had the blender Jeremy Reeves on here to talk about it, and that was actually pretty cool. Um, they've been doing a lot of Cornell and Deal because they've had a lot of what do you call it, small batch items come out and stuff like that. But they were also doing it because of the yeah, they got the Cornell and Deal We Three Kings. I thought that sounded amazing. Sun Bear Navy. You had the fucking, where is it, the Carolina Red Flake and Perique. You got the From Beyond. There was another one. I know there was another Cornell and Deal I had just saw just the other day that I was just kind of like, man, they're just doing so many of them. Of course, now I can't find it. Maybe it was, oh no, okay, it was just another one of the Carolina. Okay, so it was just another one of the Carolina Red Flake ones. Okay, so that's what I had saw the other day. I think I got some My Father cigars. These are amazing. The My Father cigars. I had just had the Flora de, what is it? The Flora de los Antonellis, Maduro one. That was absolutely amazing. These guys, these Wintertime Reserve, uh, Queensland's like, there's one of them that is like a Santa, like there's the other Santa Claus, but I wonder if that's the one that's over there. Uh, there is a few of these like Christmassy time ones that I really want to get my hands on. A lot of people say that are just absolutely amazing for pipe tobacco. And again, too, so one of the things that I do want this to be, to be understood as well, chat, is that I am not trying to tell people that they should start smoking a pipe. I'm not telling you that or advocating for it. I'm not advocating for, tobacco use in general or even vaping, anything like that, cannabis, nothing like that. What I want people to understand is that when I do these videos, that one, they're like me reviewing either pipes, the tobacco itself, talking about the essence of it, why I think that it is a gentlemanly hobby or gentlemanly lifestyle that you can get into, and one that I think is actually speaks about your personality and about the traits that you have. Um, do I think that every person should do it? No. There's actually a lot of people I think that shouldn't fucking smoke a pipe because it would just ruin pipe smoking. But do I enjoy pipe smoking myself? And do I think that it should be something that people consider trying, men and women? Yes, 100%. So let's get into the types of tobacco here while we light up the black cherry from Paladin Tobacco. So that is the Paladin pipe tobacco we got here. Now again, this is the made by fucking Scandinavian Tobacco Group. So normally I wouldn't be using any more of these guys since I'm trying to do my best to stick with a lot of the aficionados out there where it's like, look, if you're gonna do something bulk, go buy Lane. Lane's got all the bulk stuff. They have a very cherry one. They have, what I've been using the primary the most, which is this one right here, which is Lane's 1Q. Lane 1Q right here is literally vanilla and honey on their tobacco here, which is a uh, Red and Bright Virginia mixed with some Black Cavendish. And that is, top of the vanilla and honey. Now, they also have a vanilla chocolate and caramel one that I really want to try. It's called RLP 66. So, if I want to do some more bulk style ones, instead of buying like the Paladin Pipe Tobacco or Smoker's Pride or Gambler or anything like that, I will go with the whole Lane because it is bulk and I can actually get it by the ounce like that. And I know that they are actually done by a brand that is not bought out by a fucking monopoly that is trying to destroy the fucking tobacco companies that have been held for so long. And I mean this wholeheartedly. Like, look at what STG is doing, and a lot of the companies that they actually cure or procure, I should say, they actually dissolve a lot of the blends that they created at those times, and then either keep maybe one or two, or just completely erase that fucking history of that company completely by being like, cool, we bought them out, we don't want them on the market anymore. They were competition that we didn't want. That's really shitty, and I'm really tired of seeing that. It happens in the cannabis industry as well a lot. It happens in the liquor industry as well too. Um, just stop that shit. That's really a nuisance. It's really stupid. But if you are looking for a bulk tobacco and you want to feel good about that bulk tobacco that you're buying, and that you know it's going to be a good smoke, I highly recommend anything amongst the Lanes lineup. They have a massive lineup, probably one of the biggest lineups out of any of the tobacco companies that I've seen. So if you can't find something in Lane that you would like to smoke, you just aren't looking hard enough. Because honestly, there is literally something for everybody in the Lane fucking lineup. Like I said, this one right here is one of my more go-tos is the 1Q because it's vanilla and honey. Now they sold the RLP 66 in the local store. I would actually go with that more just because I like the idea of vanilla, caramel, and chocolate being blended together. And it's in a red Virginia and black Cavendish, and that's it. And I like that, just having the two blends. Especially with the black Cavendish, it tends to have a more natural vanilla flavor to it. So I wonder if that's where the vanilla in that RLP 66 will be coming from. So when it comes to the Lanes 1Q, though, I will say one of my favorite things about this is the consistency. No matter how many times I've packed a bowl of this, the bowls always smoke phenomenally. Once they're lit, they stay lit. They're good to go. Just a little light, puffing here and there to keep it going. But also the next big thing is the room aroma, right? Not only does it a good, I'd say maybe 3.5 or 4 on the tin note because it's just not a very like pungent, like oh my gosh, it smells amazing, but it's not like the vanilla honey mixture is so godly that you're just like, oh my gosh, jizz in my pants type level, right? And this is still good, right? Now, autumn evening, now that's a 5 out of 5 on the fucking tin note right there. Same with the room note, but the room note on this one is where this one will shine. I will give this a 4 out of 5 to 5 on the room note when you're smoking it. Every person I know that comes by that smells the 1Q smoking, they're like, wow, what is that vanilla scent? And I'm like, there's tobacco here. And they're like, wow, that's coming from tobacco? It's like, yes. Now, obviously, when I'm doing the autumn evening, people are like, dude, what smells like fucking like maple syrup and Eggo waffles? I'm like, oh, that's just autumn evening tobacco here. And they're like, what? It's like, yeah. Now, normally that would be something that you would hear about, like my vape juices or something like that. Like, wow, that smells like a pastry. It's like, yeah, no, it's my pipe tobacco. They're like, what? Like that's the fun part and watching them. The minds explode when they realize now that tobacco can be more than just tobacco flavored, and especially when it comes to pipe tobacco. So that is one of the big things I wanted to go over when it comes over to bulk buying. I normally am not going to buy STG tobacco, but I happen to do so when I first was getting into the hobby, fucking life, whatever you want to call it, right? Or the piping. Either piping, pipe smoking, however you want to call it. Some people in the community call it piping. But, and they call you a piper if you are a person who smokes a pipe. So, one of the things I will say though is that Lane 1Q has been absolutely phenomenal to smoke because it has been probably sorry, one second. So, I don't even remember now where I was fucking talking about either two chats. So, anyways, we'll just keep moving on from that now because I just fucking remember what I was talking about now. That fucking all. So, anyways,
with smoking pipes, and today we're going to be
I'm gonna fucking take a dab hit because see, I'm just getting fucking annoyed now. We're just gonna load this up really fast, chat. One second here. So it's at 520 degrees, chat. Definitely kind of need this one. I haven't smoked yet. So, cheers, everybody. Holy shit. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I mean, I got these dabber for so long, chat. I do forget how beastie this thing is. Again, for those who are new to the channel, I do use cannabis for our epilepsy. Again, there's something else I do want to get into the video here today. Um, Something I have not been able to find in terms of a YouTube video to react to or kind of go over the whole thing with this as well, chat, is the idea of using, tobacco as a way to also combat my epilepsy. Now, I've talked about this a little bit here and there on the stream and stuff, but I noticed it more so when I started smoking this guy right here at the autumn evening. Okay, and that's another big reason why I need to go get more of it because I'm getting very low on the autumn evening. I got maybe just barely an ounce of it left, maybe about an ounce and a half. So I plan to go get another 4 ounces of the autumn evening when I can. And one of the big things about that, right, is that when I'm using my cannabis for my epilepsy, right, to combat the seizures and stuff, I'll feel it in the head, I don't feel all that stuff like that. But then when I go outside and walk like in the daylight, I will not have that issue if I walk past a picket fence or branches where like the flickering of the light makes my body like starts like convulsing or tightening up in any way where I feel like I'm really noticeably having a seizure in public. And granted, it's a neurological disorder, right? I shouldn't feel bad about it, but I do. It looks fucking weird. People don't understand it when they see somebody doing that. They're like, oh man, this guy's a fucking tweaker. And it's like, no, I have a medical condition that actually makes me fucking do this. So it makes it hard to function sometimes on a day-to-day basis if I don't have cannabis a lot of times. But the problem is that cannabis, especially as, time is going on, it went from being like, oh, that was a delayed reaction to that cough, to the dab hit. But it would be like, the early days of recreational and even medicinal, it would go from being semi reasonably priced, you know, comparatively to black market, to now you have some economic budget wise, flower dabs, but they're never going to be like good. Like there's some that are great, some that are even amazing, but those get bought out so quickly that it's really hard to always jump on those ones. Because there is companies that do economic budget ones, and they actually are doing a good job. But for the most part, to get something good, like like dabs or flower wise, you're spending 20-30 bucks a pop. That can be fairly fucking expensive. Like if you start thinking about that, like 20-30 bucks a pop. Let's say that you buy 4 or 5 grams of dabs, okay? And let's say you're buying for you and your significant other. Now, let's say you start, doing anywhere between 2 to 3 dabs, a day. Depending on how big you load, whether it be a 0.2, 0.3 to even maybe a 0.5, you will be eventually going out of your dabs like that. It does happen. It happens all the time. I was guilty of this a lot, especially when you're smoking with your significant other. You'll be loading, especially because you're sharing those dabs. So instead of you taking all the rips off that dab break for yourself, now you're splitting those. So now you have to double up on that, right? That means that's more money. So, and as a person who I'm using this as, medicinal purposes, I'm starting to be like, man, I really fucking hate spending this much money. Well, I come across another thing. While about the whole pipe stuff like that, a jar about yay big. Okay, these are my coils for my RTA and RDAs for vaping. But a case about like this big, full of pure CBD dabs, like actual dabs. And I was like, wow, wait a minute. Like, we have that around here? Like, okay, all right. So what if I was to do that in conjunction with the tobacco that I'm using recently, right? Now, the reason why I bring this up in conjunction with this whole part of this video is because I have felt that when I started using the pipe tobacco, it was, how do I put this too? It hit in a way that not only did I feel almost stoned from tobacco itself, which is not a great way of wording it, but that's the best way I could describe it. I had a euphoria from tobacco that that honestly, while having been a smoker in my past as a cigarette smoker, and I'm not meaning the cringy like, oh, my past lives. No, no, no. I mean like, so from the time about 14 or 15, I was an underage smoker. Uh, and I started smoking cigarettes around the same time I smoked cannabis, right? I started around the same time. And that is why I think that's kind of, ironic too, that these two have always been intrinsically linked into my system for a very long time. Because when I started smoking cigarettes, uh, I probably, if I would have been able to find a way to get around it and do pipe tobacco back when I was like fucking teenager back then, I probably would have done it then. Not even joking. Now that I know how good it tastes and everything like that, I guarantee I would have dabbled in it had I had a good teacher of that, a good mentor in that way. But unfortunately, a lot of my friends, while being emos, depressed, and all this other shit like that, um, they were the cutter emos, all right, and they would cut themselves, and they would be sent to the fucking therapy and all this other stuff like that constantly. Now I got sent to therapy for cutting, and I air quote that. Because I play rough with my cats, so I still to this day I got cat scratches, and I still get like looked at by people. They're like, "Oh my gosh, it's like no, 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 no." It's like my cats, and I like to fuck with my cats, and I don't cut their nails really that much. Like I'll try to lightly trim them the best I can, but I'm not gonna like cut them or get them declawed or anything like that. Because I want them to be able to defend themselves if something was to happen. And again, I like kind of like roughhousing with them, getting them to be in a way trained that like that they'll use them properly and then they know how to play right. And I'll mess with them for fucking 10-15 minutes and get scratched up pretty good and stuff like that. And they'll be like, oh, you little fucker, like you pay for it, right? You get some blood drawn. You're like, oh fuck, okay, okay. Like, all right, you win. You they really bite you hard enough on the hand. You're like, oh fuck, all right, you hit the vein. You're like, okay, stop. It almost feels like they puncture the vein. You're like, oh shit, they're drawing blood. So it's like you get a moment like that. You get used to having those kind of scratches, cuts. But my friends were literal cutters, but they were the cutters doing it for attention, doing it for that sake of cutting, right? So I remember distinctly when I picked up my first cigarette, I was hanging out with a friend, and he had left his Camel Wides, uh, which was funny. I only laugh because like my mother fucking always hated these damn things. I love Camel Wides. When it was gonna be a cigarette I was gonna smoke, if it was gonna be a regular one, I love the Camel Wides, and I wish Turkish Royals or Silvers would have been made that way, just because how fat they are. It just felt like you're like, I'm actually smoking a fucking cigarette at this point, right? So my buddy leaves his Camel Wides. He goes to the bathroom to go cut. And I just remember being like, yo, dog, can I get a cigarette from you? Because I was feeling mighty depressed that day as well, for my own reasons. But I was just like looking at my friends, and I see all of them having either marks or they're like doing it right there in front of me. And I'm like, I don't want to see this, dude. Like, this is gross. I don't want to see this shit. And then they're making me feel bad because I'm being the guy who's like, could you not do this in front of me? Could you, like, how dare you tell me I shouldn't cut? It's like, well, yeah, you shouldn't, but I don't know, maybe this is just a bad idea. Just don't do it. So of course, I'm getting upset with this. So I asked him if I could borrow a cigarette, and he goes, well, you can't borrow it because I don't want it back from you like that. I was like, okay, obviously smart ass. Like, can I get one and I'll pay you back for it? He goes, yeah, go ahead. He goes, don't worry about it. So I grab a cigarette. I didn't really know how to smoke yet. So I walk outside and I start trying to do the thing where you lightly puff on it. You don't inhale. You lightly puff on it. And I'm doing all that, just trying to get used to it. And I remember distinctly that the first real time I inhaled a cigarette, oh, I threw up. I threw up so fucking hard. And I put out the cigarette, continue to throw up, go get some fucking soda, and I just start swinging it down. So that way, I knew the water wasn't going to kill the taste of it. I need something to really kill the taste. So I drank a Coke, and I just start chugging that Coke. And then it gets to that point where you're chugging it so fast, the fucking foam starts coming back up, and then you start spit foam everywhere. You're like, oh, this is fucking great. Lovely. So, I got to a point where I finally settled down, could ingest that cigarette. As my buddies, talking to me, I was asking, like, how the fuck do you enjoy this thing? And he starts describing it to me. He starts telling me. So I started smoking the cigarette. 3-4 weeks later, I would take my first bowl hit as well from a friend because at this point, I've been diagnosed with epilepsy, and I'm in 7th grade, and I fucking remember quite literally going to a friend's house, playing the drums, just doing my thing. We had strobes going on and a bunch of other shit playing around in there because he's playing on his guitar that he just bought. And I'd only had the grand mal seizure at that point once. And all of a sudden, I felt everything start tightening up in my body. I could start to feel the tunnel vision. He puts a pipe in my mouth and tells me to take a hit. At that time, I'm like, I'm a jerk kid. I don't want to do that. He's like, dude, you smoke cigarettes. Shut the fuck up. I'm like, all right, PowerPoint. Like, all right, you got me. Touche. So I take a hit. I hold it in for a second. I blow it out the best I can. About 5 minutes later, the tunnel vision, everything that's gone. I feel good again. I feel fine. So I asked him, what the fuck did he give me? He says, it's just weed. I'm like, okay. So I asked him if I could buy a bowl or two off of him for when I get home. He doesn't even let me pay for it. He just gives it to me. He says, because I'm using it for my epilepsy, he doesn't feel right to make me pay for it. All right, cool. So I go home, have all that. And at the same time now, I'm now smoking tobacco and cannabis. And one of the things I would start to learn was that, okay, the cannabis I would smoke when I needed to medicate. But, the tobacco I could just boredom smoke when I was just bored here and there. But obviously, I'm too young, can't do that. So I hang out. They have friends that were, old enough that would let me smoke at their house. And I'd smoke there, play video games there. So I did this up until I was finally, obviously, 18. And I then went and bought my first actual vape that was at the vape store where I work now. But technically, it was in a different location. So I go there, buy my first mod, all that stuff like that, because at that time I'm trying to quit cigarettes. Because again, cigarettes never smelt like this. Now, again, I would always think of that smell in my head, like pipe tobacco. And I'd always think in my head, like, man, I mean, I could try it. So fast forward now, I'd already tried quitting cigarettes. I should say I did quit cigarettes. Did kind of relapse back when I was on a construction job site, but then went right back to vaping. And stuck with that for a very long time now, for 7-8 years now. So I've enjoyed that. It's been my thing, and it's just been something I've done for a very long time now, right? But the thing that vaping never, ever, ever did, that cigarette could do, well, once in a while, I'd argue that it always had to be the first cigarette of the day. That first cigarette of the day, you take a puff, you're just like, oh, fuck. Boom. That would hit you, right? Well, that feeling started to go away. Like, I wouldn't even get it even the first day of first cigarette of the morning anymore. That was another reason why I would quit. But with vaping, I never got that feeling. I never got that, like, it's more so I just did it for the fucking flavor. And it made it easy that in between smoking cannabis, if I was like, fuck, man, I want to, smoke, I can just rip my vape, rip my vape, rip my vape. That was more fun. That was entertaining. That was good to do. So, but it was one of those things that, again, I did it because I like the boredom smoke a lot, right? So boredom vaping, as I like to call it, was something I was doing because it was so much easier to do than just blow through cannabis. So that is a big reason why I still kind of vape now, is because between smoking, pipe bowls, sometimes it's just nice to have one of these just to, oh, of course you want it. You know what I mean? So just having a nice dribble, hit. Again, that's tobacco flavored juice that's in here as it is. But it's just one of those things that I think as I've dabbled into the, this world of pipe smoking, right? And got into it, which, it led me from cigar smoking actually into this. I would say that it's ironic that there was a day where I didn't even think about it. I hadn't smoked any cannabis, didn't done any dabs, I hadn't taken any flower. All I had did was smoke pipe tobacco. And I was smoking the autumn evening that entire day. I never once had a seizure, or even felt like I was having a seizure. And I realized at that point that that tobacco had did something for me that the cannabis was doing for me, but I had actually felt like cannabis was starting to lose that punch because a lot of it's made with so much more THC and everything like that, not enough CBG, CBN, CBD, and a lot of other things. So I want to check out the CBD ones because I think that would be so much better for me, especially being an epileptic. But I am still a believer that THC does have medicinal properties, and I think if you just use it right, it's completely fine. And you have to be responsible, just like smoking just regular pipe tobacco or having a drink. Just do it responsibly, and you'll be fine. So, real quick, let's try out this Paladin pipe tobacco. This is the black cherry. Ooh, okay. That is why STG is shit. That instantly gave me tongue bite. Okay? Now, again, chat, this is this. I just want you guys to be noticed this. Especially if you're new to pipe smoking and you haven't really got into it too much yet, and you want some good advice, here's the best advice I can give you. Look up for something like this. You see a pouch like this, don't buy it. Especially if it says made in Denmark and imported by Scandinavian Tobacco Group. That is what STG is, okay? These little fuckers have a monopoly on it. I literally just took one bite. This is the false light. I've never had this happen with any of the other false lights, especially not the autumn evening. There's a reason why this is in a jar, okay? When I go to the actual, like, the cigar lounge and I buy this, I'm giving this in a Ziploc bag, okay? That's a pouch. This instantly gave me tongue bite. It hurt. And it doesn't even taste good. I don't like that. I'm gonna have to clean that out of my pipe now. I do not like that. I would rather do like the espresso autumn evening lanes 1Q, my haunted bookshop, which is also by Cornell and Deal. Uh that is the reason why STG is shit. Dude, and I've only been smoking pipes now for just a few months. Uh and it's legitimately something that I have already gotten to that point where I can detect certain notes, everything like that out of them. But when I can already have tongue bite from bad quality tobacco like that, or just overly mass produced shit like this, no, dude, that's shit. What the fuck is in that? Why the fuck does that give me tongue bite instantly? That's not okay. I don't like that. I don't like that. Like, not at all. Not at all, chat. I really don't.
Doing.
Give me 1 second here, too, real quick. I need to actually, fucking do something about my tongue now, because it fucking actually, like, has an actual bite to it. I have, like, I feel like a sting. Like, as if, like, a fucking bee just stung my tongue, is what it feels like, dude. It actually fucking hurts a little bit. Yeah, I don't like that, because that usually only happens if, like, I've been, like, smoking, like, 20 damn bowls, and I've just been, like, just puffing off of them, like, fucking mad, and all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, oh, now it's getting a little hot, you know, maybe it's this guy here, usually, when it gets way too hot, because I've just been bowl, and not even thinking about it, I'm like, oh, okay, now it's getting a little hot in the hand, I'm like, oh, my tongue's actually getting a little hot, you know, I'm like, okay, we'll give it a little break, a few seconds later, it's fine. No, this, I'm still feeling the fucking tongue bite, and I don't like that, dude, I don't like that, at all. I was actually hoping, because I really love the smell of the black cherry on this, like, this smells like real black cherry. It smells really good. I'll give it to a friend of mine, but who I think, because I think he doesn't mind that type of shit. Uh, I'm getting talking about it. I can't do that. So, give me 1 second here, guys. I'll be right back. All right.
Sort of an introductory video that I think will
I'm
especially
gonna do this video
be
here,
helpful
chat,
to
and then afterwards I will be
newer pipe
wrapping it up.
smokers. Though I hope some veterans maybe glean some information from this as well. And we're going to be talking about different types of tobacco cuts.
Alright, there we go. Trying to fix this.
Speaking from my personal experience, when I first started smoking a pipe back in high school, my understanding of pipe tobacco was
Why am I seeing that message on the
pipe
Rumble
and
chat,
lit it
but I'm
and
not
you
seeing
smoked
it
and
anywhere
that was it.
else?
Obviously, from this array, you can tell that there are many different types
Fuck,
of
why is my other
how tobacco
YouTube chat
can
not
be-
pulling up video?
to be cut
Pulling
and
up the chat.
stored. The most ubiquitous, though, is the ribbon cut right here. And it's definitely what you're going to find the vast majority of pipe tobaccos to be cut in. And essentially, it's whole leaf tobacco that it could be multiple components or a single component, and it's sliced into these fine, slender ribbons that makes the tobacco easier to be lit and also promote, steady airflow
So,
within a
John-
packed bowl.
I'm just gonna pause this real quick so I can actually be heard. John Kill, 1650 Elliot. So you said Elliot Smith, but for whatever reason, I am not sure if it's like YouTube just didn't like that it was showing and it's gone. But I'm not seeing that fucking message on anywhere else. I can only see this on the. I can only see this on the fucking the Rumble side. Scroll down that way. This just the at John. That was what just popped up. Like it's like YouTube. Obviously on the Rumble side, to tell me that that's from the YouTube side and like that. But it's because it usually has that icon, not actually the word YouTube. But then it was like the name, and then the message here, chat. And I was a little confused here because it's always showing up in my Rumble live chat thing, but not in the actual YouTube, which that's where it's at. I mean, how else would I have copied paste that whole message? Why the fuck? Like, why is this breaking? Because I saw that message pop up on my side, obviously on the YouTube side, when I, copied and pasted it. But if I go to Rumble Studio, I'm seeing it in the live chat thing there. I'm just not sure what the fuck's going on with that. It's really fucking weird, chat.
It's pretty self-explanatory. Like I said, the name ribbon pretty much tells you exactly what it is.
Like that
but there also is sort
black
of a
cherry by the
subtype
Paladin.
of ribbon cut tobacco called shag.
Pipe tobacco there.
Essentially, shag cut tobacco is ribbon cut tobacco, just even finer cut. So those are going to burn
the
faster,
ball is shag.
a little bit hotter, and they're definitely preferred.
Fuck that
in
tobacco.
smaller
That is
pipes,
gross.
especially maybe clay pipes where heat
Definitely will not be
isn't
doing
as much
any
of a
STG
factor.
at all,
Moving to
ever
other
again.
types of tobacco cuts,
Nothing by them
one
ever
of
again.
The other predominant types of tobacco cuts is pressed tobacco, and
Yes,
that's gonna be in several different varieties. But
on a bookshop.
tobacco originated.
We actually had that.
Centuries ago, as a means of transporting tobacco across the Atlantic from the Americas to
I know I got
Europe.
a big chunk in here somewhere that I haven't used up
They
yet.
had back then revolved around
Wait, bastard.
humidification and the moisture content of tobacco. If you were to just transport ribbon cut tobacco,
That's what they're talking about. That's what
sending
press
this
looks
on
like
ship,
before it
it's
gets
gonna
like
be dry by the time it gets
all
to
completely
its
ribbon up,
destination,
but
and
then
that's not good
you can
for
grab it
the
and start
consumers, for the pipe
fluffing it up
smokers, for
and
pipe
mix
smokers
back
in
into
general.
ribbon, and then
So
you
what they would
can
do is they would
pack
press
it into
it
your bowl.
into
Boom.
these
Good to go.
blocks, or sometimes twist it into ropes.
Yeah, the ropes are
That would
weird.
preserve the moisture content, enabling the tobacco to be transported.
Like,
over
I've only
lengths of
seen one
time.
package of that once ever at a store, and that was in
First
Portland,
we'll start
Oregon.
with is plug cut tobacco. This is sort of pressed tobacco in its simplest, most primitive form.
Yep.
You're taking whole leaf tobacco, blending it up into various components, and then putting it under very intense pressure for an extended amount of time. So much so that
But no heat,
tobacco
no heat.
will
It's just pressure.
fuse together into an entire
Because the
block.
heat that's doing it as a Lackia
Leads
style.
us to another another type of cut, which is flake cut. That ties in directly to plug cut tobacco because
that actually might more closer to than pressed
cuts of a plug cut tobacco. So they're essentially
that's probably what I actually have for the Haunted Bookshop right there. The Haunted Bookshop is
flakes, which
beautiful tasting.
some of the
Love it.
off of the pipe smoker themselves. Moving on from
Rid of
flake
this
tobacco, we also
that's
have
in here.
the option of broken flake, and that is
broken flake. Okay, yeah, that's what I have.
The preparation process.
That is definitely what Bookshop is. Then a Haunted Bookshop. Because I just showed you the part of the press of it, and you can tell that this obviously has the broken part of it. You can see.
Pipe smoker, just adding efficiency and ease of packing your pipe, and
it is so tasty.
The manufacturer has taken flakes, which were
taken
from plugs.
Fuck that black cherry. We're doing some espresso, and I'm not even gonna wait for it to fucking dry. I don't even care. We're just gonna throw it in there, and I'm gonna roast the shit out of it until it fucking dries out with the lighter.
A little bit simpler, a little bit faster. As we're talking about these pressed pipe tobaccos too, it's important to note the aging.
Then after the lady leaves tonight, I will be back live afterwards.
And generally speaking, when a tobacco
so you can finish the rest of the videos I had planned.
Changes slightly because of the intense pressure that the tobacco is undergoing. It actually changes the chemical composition of the tobacco itself, which results in a different flavor profile. So you might have the exact same components, the exact same ratios between a ribbon cut tobacco and a plug cut tobacco, and the plug, the flake, whatever other pressed type of tobacco is going to be slightly different in flavor profile. Generally speaking, also these pressed tobaccos are going to have more aging potential. They're going to offer more nuance and change and more dramatic difference between a fresh cut and say one that's been aged 5, 10, 15 years down the road.
Yeah, tobacco does age like a fine wine.
But you're not going to notice as strong of
for those that don't know
as you would with pressed tobacco. So if you're interested in cellaring tobaccos, you like seeing how blends change over time, pressed tobaccos are going to give you that greatest difference between fresh and aged stuff.
Espresso, a nice little tight pack finally.
Cut. It's similar to a plug in the sense that it's.
That's why I want to try the pirate cake so bad. Oh, it looks exactly like that.
Unlike a plug, which is whole leaf tobacco, a cake is taking ribbon cut tobacco,
context,
putting that under pressure. The preparation's a little bit easier. You can check out our videos on how to prepare different types of cut tobacco, but the biggest difference is with a cake, you can typically
my fucking right contact
with your finger,
watering up. I think it's here, but
whereas a plug is so dense, you're going to need a knife or some cutter to take the pieces off.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Rope, also called twist, and that's a pretty self-explanatory one as well. It's put under pressure, but instead of
see, I've always heard it called twist.
Side in a vise, more or less, the tobacco is twisted and put under pressure that way. Very few factories in the world even have the capability to do that. So rope is
it's very rare.
Rare types of tobacco, rarer cuts, and it takes some very specialized machinery that you don't see much of today.
That's kind of cool. I didn't know about that.
Flake, which is a pre-sliced version of
got some of that Cornell deal espresso in here, so it's just like the mocha without the chocolate.
And it's very similar to flakes, however they're in circular form as opposed to rectangular form, simply because
the coins. Yep, I've heard of those. I've never seen them in person. That's kind of cool looking.
The last cut we're going to be talking about today is cube cut, and out of this whole selection,
look, it's cube cut.
You could argue that cube cuts may be your rarest. You don't see a ton of entirely cube cut.
That's what fucking Smoker's Pride does it. I do not like that.
Into the overall mixture.
Looks weird.
It's another offshoot of
get that shit out of here.
Except instead of cutting into flakes, there's an extra process where they're cutting it again crosswise into cubes, and that promotes more airflow in the pipe, which can help in the burn rate. It also promotes the aging benefits of pressed tobacco, and so a lot of manufacturers that use
it's very moist as shit, chat.
Sprinkle in a certain ratio of cube cut tobacco into maybe a ribbon cut mixture, and it's going to help the airflow a little bit. It's going to add varying flavor profiles, and you also have people that love smoking cube cut on its own. You can buy it in bulk as a single component, and it's perfectly fine to smoke on its own, but most often you're going to see it used as a component of say, a ribbon cut mixture. So yeah, thanks for watching this overview. Hopefully you newer pipe smokers out there kind of have a better idea of what the various options are and how they differ from one another, but also how they're very integrated and related to one another as well. Let us know in the comments if you prefer a certain type of cut to another, what your experiences have been with these different cuts, what you maybe notice in flavor profiles, and yeah, we'll see you next time.
So, again, there's always good information for learning the different types of cuts of tobacco and stuff like that, especially that way you can figure out what kind you might like to go with the most. So that's going to be posted for both sides there. This way you guys can grab that link, check out the video again, and go drop them a like, subscribe to the channel, everything like that. They have a lot of great information, stuff like that. So, again, I'll come back later on in just a little bit, and we'll talk about the rest of these here. But I'm going to wrap up just for a little while here, just so that way we can, I can go and hang out with the lady for a little bit. And then, again, like I said, once she takes off, then I will be back live again, chat. So I will see you guys back here in a little bit.